Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we have a replay posted by Lemming Pumar 1. We're gonna just call him Lemming to keep things simple because that's a name that's a mouthful. He is playing in the T-44-100 today, and he has a battle here that, well, I'm gonna learn some things. He's gonna show me some things, and he is going to carry his team quite exceptionally well. So that's going to be a little more later in the match here, but for now, he's going to be playing the role of a light tank and seeing if he can spot any of the enemy vehicles crossing over there. This is something that I kind of wish you couldn't do on this map. This is a bit of a silly thing. I really do like the changes that they've made. There we go, one free shot into the E50. He doesn't get spotted for it, but this is one of the changes they made in the recent update, semi-recent update to this map, preventing so many free shots like this from happening, and I do think that's a really, really good change. I just wish it kind of increased the likelihood of that a little bit more, because there's nothing more frustrating in a World of Tanks match than being shot in the side before you even have any of the enemy team spotted. It's just a little bit infuriating. So now Lemming is going to get out of there. He's leaving. He got spotted. He got 2 shots in. He got 2 assisted shots in as well. And now he's going to make a second guess himself. Now he's just driving around in circles, just doing some circles. He's going to go over here instead and sit with our SU-130 PM. It looks like he's probably planning on shooting down there at that XM and seeing if he can get any kind of shots down there at all. Just a little bump at the SU, like, hey, I'm here, and spots that Centurion right away. Now, he has loaded some premium rounds to give him the best chance possible of going through heavily armored targets like that Centurion 7-1's turret, but that turret is still a little bit too tough for even his premium rounds to get through. So he knows that. He's going to poke around this corner. He knows also that his own turret is pretty good, but he's exposing a bit too much of his hull perhaps, which is kind of concerning me. He's going to try to maybe go for a weak spot. He's trying to find a weak spot. He's trying to find an easy shot. There's kind of one there, but it's not much easier than what he was looking at already. He's going to try for the Centurion Commander's Hatch. That is such a slim shot, especially at this range. It's already a small target. And he decides instead that, you know what, this is not a battle I'm realistically going to win. My time can be used much more efficiently somewhere else. So maybe back over to this initial bush, see if he can see anything. Keep an eye on what's around the area. There is a Centurion Action X on his team that is kind of spotting this area a bit too, but Lemming definitely has a better spotting range. I imagine he has a better spotting range than that Carnabarn, sorry. Now, what is he going to do next? So far, it seems like if there is anything over there, it's hiding in a bush, and it's not really the battle that he's going to win either. He's off to find the next best thing. He's looking at the mini-map. He's showing that he is aware of what's happening on this mini-map. Again, signs of a pretty good player. And he's looking at the north flank and going, hey, look, my team is very much outnumbered, and something is going on there as well. That SU-130 PM just took a bunch of massive hits. Clearly he was poking around the corner. Now Lemming is thinking, well, maybe I should go help there instead. But things are still looking pretty poor on the northern flank, and that Centurion looks like he's not dumb enough to poke around the corner and get shot by several allies, several of his enemies, being Lemming's allies, at once. Now looking up at the northern flank, that allied Caliban is now all alone. The T-30 has fallen. That means this Caliban is facing it at least a 3 versus 1. Not very good odds, if you ask me, especially given that Caliban has an extremely long reload. He has 2 shells there that can do some massive damage, but after that, it's pretty vulnerable. It's pretty much game over for that Caliban. And it looks like instead of Lemming here going to help that Caliban, like I probably would have, he is actually going to make a, it doesn't look like a great decision now, but a very good decision, and set up a bit of a tree fortress here. Now, in pushing down all of these trees, what he's doing is actually making several layers of camo, which means drastically better camo rating here for Lemming, and you're going to see exactly what he managed to do with this. So far, he's fired that shot. He hasn't been spotted. That's excellent. He's going to fire a second shot. He still hasn't been spotted, and these enemy heavy tanks are getting closer and closer. There's a third shot. Still hasn't been spotted. The Object 7772 is getting closer and closer. This is making me quite nervous. I mean, how long can Lemming here really stay unspotted? This Type 63 is beginning to panic, but Lemming is managing to punch through that armor pretty well over and over again with his premium rounds. Now, none of them are spotted, so what's he going to do? Absolutely nothing, because the 772 got close enough that he managed to get himself spotted either by Lemming or by one of his allies around the corner, but I think it was Lemming that did the spotting damage there, or got the spotting. Now the 7772 is seeing this really sucks. Why can't I spot this T-44-100 that's sitting in a bush back here? Like, clearly he knows that he's here. He just doesn't know exactly where. And Lemming is going to back up enough to spot these enemy heavy tanks. And when he gets to a point where there's only one tank or one bush between himself and those enemy vehicles, he manages to spot them again. Now the BZ-176 is a very dangerous tank. It'll do, you know, close to 800 damage in a shot if Lemming lets him, especially given that Lemming has actually his butt to the enemy vehicles right now. Still has not been spotted though. Look at how effective all these layers of bushes are really being. You're going to be surprised with what you see here in a second too, I think, because it's just insane. I mean, way more effective than I could have ever imagined a few bushes being in a tank like this. This is what I would have expected if there was something like an E25 or a Manticore or ELC even 90 sitting in a bush, not a relatively heavily armored medium tank. And here comes this BZ. The BZ is pushing up. Looks like the BZ might be thinking, okay, I need to get up here, get some proxying going. Look at Lemming even moves a little bit and still doesn't get spotted. Still firing his gun with these enemy heavy tanks only about 100 meters away. Like, that's pretty incredible. There we go. Manages to finish off the BZ-176. This 7772 is getting really close. Maybe now, finally, Lemming manages to get spotted. That must be extremely frustrating for these heavy tanks to be picked apart like this. Lemming now has almost 4,000 damage done, maybe more than that, given that there was a blind shot done to at least one of these enemy vehicles that Lemming was fighting. And the odds are still not looking that great in this battle. There's the enemy team has about 1,500 hit points advantage, and they are pushing up into Lemming's base still. This XM is right there. Never mind, he's gone. And it looks like now, perhaps, there'll be a little bit of breathing room for Lemming. Lemming can now clear his thoughts. Not that he seems to need it. And maybe, perhaps, now take it easy, make a plan, figure out how he's going to approach all these enemy vehicles that are on the other side of the map. Wow, that was impressive. Have you ever seen Camo used like that in a medium tank? I could not believe when I saw this how well that Camo actually worked. How effective having... Okay, where'd that Waffenträger kill him from? Having all those layers of camo was so effective. That Waffenträger must have been over where Lemming is looking right now. It must have, right? No. Somehow that Waffenträger managed to get the kill shot off on Lemming's ally without getting himself spotted from that position. SU, are you hurting yourself? Are you throwing yourself off of a cliff? You kind of need those hit points, bud. I mean, look at the situation you've got now. The enemy team has, what, like a 4,000 hit point advantage just about now? That's pretty incredible. Here comes the Barrask. Lemming actually has a high explosive round loaded already. Managed to penetrate the Barrask with that. The Barrask has got himself perched up on a ridge real close and can't get his gun down, so that was pretty useless of him. I'm sure the enemy team was a little bit upset about that. Now Lemming is behind this Waffenträger Panzer IV. I couldn't remember when I was watching this video for the first time if that Waffenträger even has a turret that can turn around 360 degrees. Turns out it does. The XM has now pulled up on the site, but Lemming has no choice but to just ignore the thing because he can't fight two tanks at once. There's not really too many places here where Lemming can make himself safe from getting shot from both vehicles at once too. So he's just got to hope for the best, hope his butt armor holds up, and hope that he can get that Waffenträger dead as quick as possible. But now, this is not looking too good. Lemming is now a one-shot kill. He's trying to get away from this XM as fast as he can. The XM misses that shot somehow. Wow, that was incredibly lucky. And now Lemming is going to take advantage of the situation and hopefully get beside him before he reloads. He does. He's behind him. That XM definitely does not have a turret that can turn all the way around. This is bad news for the XM, but amazing news for Lemming. Lemming is still a one-shot kill for pretty much any tank that could have been in this match. But, wow, look at this. The XM has now given up. He's not even trying to outmaneuver Lemming anymore. I wonder if he has a damaged engine. He's moving pretty slow. His gun's up in the air. He's fully given up. And this is going to confirm the 6th kill in a Top Gun for Lemming. Wow. Very impressive. That was incredible. This match for Lemming has been amazing. He's done almost 7,500 damage that we know of. 6 kills. That's a Top Gun right there. Now, the one thing though, there's still a Ferdinand on the enemy team that has not yet been spotted. What do we think is going on with that Ferdinand? Is it an enemy vehicle that is just AFK, still sitting in the base with no one controlling it? Is it trundling around somewhere? Is it camping their base? I mean, they haven't clearly done too much in this game to help their team. And we're going to assume because he hasn't been spotted that he's probably still at full health. But what is Lemming going to do if that Ferdinand is not AFK? I really hope for Lemming's sake that he is, but he's not. He's right there. He's right there. Look out. Lemming's going to get down this hill, and Lemming is going to go to work again. This is going to be a tall order, but if he can get behind that Ferdinand, then he has a very, very good chance of carrying this one even harder. Like, Lemming cannot catch a break. Lemming can... He's been working so hard. He has 17 rounds of ammo left, which should be lots. Luckily, given how much he's been using this gun, I'm almost surprised that he has that much. He's even using that last little bit of bush there to get himself out of here as much as possible. He knows that he can't fight that Ferdinand head-to-head. It would be very tricky. His only shot is to either outspot the thing somehow or, again, get behind it, which could mean tracking him at close range. But right now, he's at a fairly long range, not close enough to do the flanking maneuver, and he's just waiting to see what that Ferdinand is doing. Is this Ferdinand going to push around this corner and go after Lemming? For the Ferdinand, I would be horrified in this situation, in a sense, knowing that if I get flanked, I am throwing this game that I could save right now, and I could ruin Lemming's game, Lemming's excellent game that he's had. I mean, I'm sure there's a crucial contribution medal in this form, regardless of what happens, but yikes. This is getting to be a pretty nerve-wracking game. I can't imagine being in Lemming's situation. My heart would be beating at an incredible rate. I really do like Lemming's battle awareness. You could see him looking over at where that Ferdinand was last spotted when he was going across the bridge, trying to see if that Ferdinand is maybe falling back towards his own base, thinking maybe I need to defend. Maybe he's realized that Lemming is no longer there anymore. He's kind of going through his options. Now, as you can see, his allies suggesting go cap. That might be a good idea. But Lemming is going to go over here and check to see if he can get either some shots into that Ferdinand or spot that Ferdinand. If that Ferdinand is coming back to his base already, then capping is probably not the way to go. But if that Ferdinand is still over there, still waiting for Lemming to go into the base, maybe around that rock that they were last seen around, then perhaps capping is a good idea. I don't know if that Ferdinand can get back in time to prevent the capture. But now, one of the worst things that could possibly happen is that that Ferdinand gets on the base to capture it before Lemming does. I think that Lemming could make it back in time, but still, that puts a lot of pressure on Lemming there as well. And this map isn't that great for having a surprise attack route on the on defending the bases. And that being said, Lemming is now sitting here worried about where that Ferdinand is. He's probably thinking that maybe he's coming up on the east road there, if anything. He seems pretty certain that maybe he's not coming up over here, but we'll check it anyway. Really, look at that now, though. The Ferdinand has entered his cap circle, but it's too late. This game is done. As long as Lemming stays in this cap, there's nothing that Ferdinand can do. Ferdinand can't make it back in time. Ferdinand can't capture in time, obviously. This has been a very, very epic battle by Lemming. Like, holy... I can't believe that this is one of those games that are just an absolute treat to watch. Something that is, if you ever have a battle like this, almost a once in a World of Tanks lifetime kind of battle. And just something you'll remember for years, I hope. And even in this Tier 8 vehicle, this Tier 8 Premium, a very solid Tier 8 Premium, if I'm completely honest, managing to do 7,400 damage that we know of. And actually, I can confirm now that is all the damage. Didn't manage to put in that blind shot successfully earlier on in the match. But this is probably more damage in this match than a lot of players have done in Tier 10s in their entire World of Tanks career. It's not terribly far off from mine, maybe a couple thousand damage. Overall, really, really impressive. Very well played, very good map awareness. Wonderfully done. Thanks for watching, everyone. Congratulations, Lemming, on this excellent battle. See you guys later. Have a good one.